So if we follow here and coming out from under the mandible, we see the facial artery, right? Remember that facial artery, facial vein? We saw those as branches of the external carotid artery. Those guys are going to give us a couple of branches that are going to go to the lips. We don't see them here. But one will come off this artery, they'll come through here to the lips. That's the inferior labial artery. Another one will come here as the superior labial artery. This is the nose, right? Nose. Right beside the nose, this area right through here is going to be the lateral nasal artery. And then this area right through here. Okay, that's going to be our angular artery. Angular artery. So the angular artery is going to be right up here by the eyeball, right here, okay, middle or medial canthus. Right beside the nose, just a little below it, is going to be the lateral nasal artery. Okay. If we continue following the facial artery down here, we'll see two branches going to the lips, inferior labial artery, and then the one on top, superior labial artery, and they're all coming from the facial. Now, if we look up here, we can see those other arteries, right? We can see our supratrochlear artery. And then we can see that supraorbital artery along with that supraorbital nerve. Now remember, we saw the external carotid artery give us the branch of the facial. It also gave us the maxillary artery. And if you remember, the maxillary artery was deep, right? So in order to see the maxillary artery, I have to get rid of the zygomatic bone, possibly the mandible. Kind of depends on the cadaver. So we get rid of this and we look, I can see right there our maxillary artery. That's one we already saw, okay? Just above that, on the zygomatic bone, which is going to be superficial, is the transverse facial artery. As this continues moving superior, we're going to see the superficial temporal artery, which is sort of the termination of the external carotid. There's two more branches that come off of it that move posterior. One we're not going to see. One we will see. So we have this guy here. So our occipital artery, right there. Coming out by the occiput, we can see it right through there. Occipital artery. And there's one last one called the posterior auricular artery, but we're not going to see it on the table. It's just going to come off of the carotid, come back and kind of behind the ear. So essentially what we're doing is building on the external carotid, which we had already seen. We're just building essentially the termination, which is only adding a few more arteries to it. And then we're seeing all those branches from the facial artery as well too. So essentially everything that we're seeing today, when we meet again, we'll see it all from the point of view of the models, okay? It'll be all the same stuff, it's just we'll be seeing it from